right, giddy up here. Game day, boys. It's a real Kyper Bourne show. Jake the Snake Schultz, Derek Brandeo, Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, and our very own Sammy McKee. Live on Sportsnet 360, the Fan 590 in Toronto, streaming always on Sportsnet Plus, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. The Maple Leafs are in Boston tonight to take on Sammy, Fraser Minten, and the Boston Bruins.
Yeah. Great.
Fraser Minten will be centering their top line between David Pastrnak and Marat Kuznetsov.
Good job, buddy.
I think I did that okay.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just kind of start there with Fraser Minten, because the other day Brandon Carlo was kind of asked about the criticism around the trade today, and
Yesterday at practice. We got it.
Okay, we got it?
Yeah, I mean, a veteran producer, when you get asked at 3:58 for a clip, sometimes you pull it together.
Actually, 3:59 and a half.
Hold on. Before we get into this, okay?
Yeah.
I just want to make it very clear to my Leaf fan friends that are listening to this that I know this sucks. And I know you don't want to hear about this. And there's articles every day now. CJ's writing articles about the trade. David Arnold's writing. He's got the it factor. Like, this is kind of what you do now because there's nothing else to talk about. So now it's just thrown right into all Leaf fans' faces where Fraser Minten now is like the next second coming and we have to do it. And we're about to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying I'm sympathetic towards my Leaf fan brethren and sisters.
I don't really think it's all that fair to go to a guy like Carlo on it, but we'll get into it after we listen to his response.
Play the clip. So there you go. Brandon Carlo.
A little bit, but same sort of thing with things that are outside of my control. Try not to pay attention to it too much, but just try to bring my best each and every day, and that's all I can control.
What do you do, I guess, to tune it out? If you have a trick or anything?
No, not necessarily. I think, if you're in the NHL environment, there's going to be a lot of things that you need to tune out throughout your career. So just kind of put it in the category with most of those things and just continue forward.
Okay. By the way, I think I read today that Carlo's like the only one close to being a plus player on a team that's just buried in minuses.
Minten is? Or
No, Carlo.
Brandon Carlo.
Yeah, Carlo.
Yeah.
Let me find it was Luke Fox that put the tweet out.
Well, it's funny because I was going to approach us. Go ahead if you have the tweet.
I do. Maple Leafs are minus 29. Brandon Carlo is plus 9. He's the only Leafs defenseman, minimum 12 games played, who's been on the ice for as many goals for as against, 36-36, despite only starting 45% of his shifts in the offensive zone.
Well, that's funny because what I was actually going to bring up is everyone is talking about this whole thing like, world's worst trade, right? Carlo, they gave up Minten. Minten is an immediate NHL player. The draft pick could be very high, which you didn't know at the time. But when it happened, a lot of people did criticize it. I'm not saying no one criticized it. It wasn't panned, though. Mm-hmm. The Athletic had it as a B-plus grade. I myself was like, you had to do what you had to do.
I mean, did you want to go into the playoffs and the Leafs' best chance to win a cup with Philip Myers as your top right-hand shot D? Because that's what they were staring at.
Last year.
Outside of Tanev, sorry.
It was a must. And, we're all sitting here, hindsight's 2020, of course, and Brad Treliving's getting ripped head to toe on it. But to your point, JB, and, you, Sammy, as well, I think we're on the same page that at the time, it wasn't horrible.
So what I
wasn't horrible.
I want to follow up with that.
They needed a right-handed D, to Sam's point.
Yeah, and they struck out on some guys. I would have loved them to do something sooner, to be more aggressive early. There's a lot of things. That article today that CJ wrote talked about how they first engaged on this at 2 p.m. on deadline day.
That's the part that kills me.
Yes.
That's the part.
But we knew that. We knew that Carlo was Plan B. He chased
generously.
We talked about it.
I didn't know it was that late, boys. I got to be honest.
They were in on Rasmus Anderson. Boston also
Ristolainen as well.
They were in on a few things, but Anderson was the guy he was chasing.
Yeah.
No questions asked here. Boston also was tangled up in a lot of Brad Marchand at the time. Sign him, keep him, trade him. What can we get? Is there another team we can get besides Florida? So the Leafs were on the back burner of this. And, you make an excellent point, Sammy, that or Justin. It was too late to start thinking about the devil in the details.
Totally. And which is going to kill him, right? Because the top 5 protection, not top 10.
But again, if you're Brad Treliving and you know that you had to have had a right-handed D no matter what, then like we didn't all sit here a year ago and said, oh man, he was okay to do it for a top 10, but don't do it for a top 5.
No.
Like that's not a deal breaker.
Yeah,
with a team,
but hold on, that's his job, not ours.
Yeah.
That's a team that finished first in the Atlantic and was one of 8 teams, maybe just on the outside of 6, who could maybe win the Stanley Cup. So it wasn't that big of a deal from 10 to 5 because we never thought they'd ever get there.
And the difference here, the risk involved is that it wasn't a top 5 protected pick that season. It was in the next season where you don't know what you are necessarily. And there were plenty of underlying signs that said the Leafs aren't as good as the results this year,
But not this bad.
Not this bad. Certainly they didn't think this bad, which is why it should
did
have
the
been
Florida
10.
Panthers think they were going to be when they top 10 protected with the Spencer Knight trade? Like they also,
and the Leafs have top 10 protected every other deal. Every other deal is top 10.
So that's the part that kills me is that if you start this negotiation at even 11 a.m. or whatever, you get to a point where are the Boston Bruins saying no over 10 versus 5?
Maybe, maybe not. Is it 7, 8, 9? Can you grind
Could you
on
answer that
details?
question?
First of all, it's the Leafs who, like, in any negotiation, if you got a 50-50 split, lucky you. But there's somebody that's holding a little bit more of the cards, usually in a negotiation.
Well, they'd be fine to keep Carlo.
And it was the Leafs that came calling at the last second, desperate.
Yeah.
So Brad, I don't think Brad was in a position to lose the deal over 10 to 5.
Well, yeah. I mean,
okay. And in hindsight,
but these are the things you're on the hook for when you don't have what your plan A is.
You're 100% right. 100% right, because it's like you were going to get Carlo at all costs, but it's the all costs that will probably cost him his job.
So the question I wanted to ask is there a chance for redemption for this trade? Is there a chance? So Carlo makes 3.4 or something like that this year and next year.
Brad got all of that right, including
retention,
how low he is
yep.
and how many minutes he can play and the type of player he is. Like, all of that was okay. Even the first rounder was okay.
Like, if Fraser Minten becomes, let's say the Leafs fall into the bottom 5. They keep their pick this year. They pick 4th or 5th. They get Keaton Verhoff or whatever. That feels pretty good. Carlo, can he play 20 minutes a night for you in your second or your third pair, wherever it is you like him? And if Minten ends up being a 50-point forward, like, is there a world where you go, yeah, or is it just, this is a joke, this is the worst trade they've ever made, this is a laugher forever no matter what from here?
Well,
that's a good question. I think
you're not factoring in the other things that it cost you. You would have had the defenseman already, just based on your performance this year, right?
Mean? Oh, you're saying if you didn't do the deal at all?
Yeah. Like, it just cost. It's still too expensive.
Yeah,
JB,
absolutely.
Right? Even with your first round pick and Carlo for the next few years, it was too expensive. Too many assets went out the door. When inevitably your play dictated you're getting a top 5 pick, not that you needed to make a trade to get it.
Well, I mean, the most likely outcome, as you detailed in the tweet you sent today, is that you're going to give up Fraser Minten, who they all love. I mean,
a Selke contending 65 points.
Every single person that's ever talked about the kid adores him. I mean, I sent a rude tweet yesterday.
We liked him. Everybody.
Yes.
Everybody.
And the most likely outcome is that, like, they get the 6th overall pick and somebody reaches on somebody and Keaton Verhoff drops to the Boston Bruins and they pick him at 6 and he's the best he's the best right-hand shot defenseman in the league for 15 years playing for the Boston Bruins. That was the Leafs pick. That is the most likely outcome. We all know.
That's the most painful.
I mean, well, when has there been the most non-painful outcomes as a Toronto Maple Leaf fan?
Whether you think
fair.
it's fair or not,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not even sure where I stand on this, I just hate the fact that Carlo has to answer to it.
Well, that's
I think that's BS, to be honest with you. To shove a question like that in my face, I'm like,
was the question. How are you hearing about it? Are you?
yeah, how's it affecting you? The criticism of what you're hearing about the trade, and it's like, hey, buddy, they don't ask us our opinion on whether they should do it or not.
I think you're spending too much on me.
Okay,
I don't think I'm worth that.
Yes.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. In hindsight, I would have never done it.
Yeah, I
like, what kind of answer can he give them? It's like,
No, but
when
it's
you get traded.
irrelevant.
Go ask somebody else on what was worth it and what wasn't worth it. Don't come to me.
But if it's affecting his play, if the negativity around it is becoming an influence on how he's affected, it's relevant. So, I don't know.
Again, I don't know whether it was fair or not.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe to your point, it is fair. I just wish he would turn around and say, what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
What do you expect me to say? No, I'm playing well. I think I'm playing well. I feel healthy. He was hurt.
Yeah.
He took care of business. He's never played better hockey for the Leafs.
He's the ultimate. If you don't notice him, he's done well.
So,
D-man.
I mean, there's Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who's been far and away the best guy on the blue line, but Carlo's been okay. I mean, what is he, though? He's
just not flashy. He's just, you're never going to get.
Also no edge. He's another big no edge guy.
You're just never going to have things that you point to, and you're not going to have these moments where you're like, see?
You could win a cup with him as your sixth D.
They were looking for a minute muncher.
Yes.
Right? Because if you talk to anybody that followed him with Boston, their biggest issue was that he was not as physical as they thought he should be at times. But guy that can still play 17, 18, 19 minutes.
He's averaged 19, 17 this month, 19 the one before, 19 the one before, 20 the one before. Like, he's playing.
All right, we got Gord Stellick. We got Andy Brickley to tee up the Boston Bruins tonight for us as well. And then Steve Valiquette, top of the hour.
Pretty loaded program.
Yeah. Pizzetta's playing tonight.
Pizzetta's in?
Yeah, that's exciting. Yarn Croc's out.
All right, that's something, I guess.
Do we want Berube or are we going to go to...
I think Gordo's going to be there in a second. What'd you think? Gordo, one of the biggest fans ever of Jake Gardiner, will be excited to watch this game tonight.
Yeah, we didn't even mention that.
Yeah, Jake Gardner's at the TD Garden.
All right,
Pretty cruel.
let's bring him in. Gord Stellick does a terrific job for us. Maple Leaf analyst for Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Former general manager of the Maple Leafs. So it's, what do they call? They don't call it father's trip. They call it the mentor trip, right?
I thought that they just did all this variety of trips, but no, this is a bring whoever you want to bring trip. Right?
All right.
I think.
So that was Sammy's reference, Gord, that Jake Gardiner's somewhere floating around the TD Garden. They didn't ask me or you to come. That's for sure.
No, well, imagine these trips, huh, Kippy? I remember your parents talked about how well they were treated by New York, the Rangers in the Stanley Cup final. I thought that was really neat, and they weren't doing trips back then. And yeah, Justin, they seem to, I don't know if they alternate fathers, moms, whatever, but then the mentor thing is kind of a neat one that you could bring someone that's been important in your life. And yes, I really liked Jake Gardiner. Okay. I saw Jake Gardiner for what he was. Don't get me wrong. And unfortunately, the Leafs could be going back to an era where one of your top 2D is Jake Gardiner, as you don't quite make the playoffs. But I was a big Jake Gardiner fan, especially off the ice, but I liked him on the ice too.
Okay, I'll kind of open this up to all of us here, but we'll start with you, Gord, just in terms of if we're going to see a massive change with, this decade with the players moving forward, or we see a different version of it this summer. And we've seen the Leafs battle the Boston Bruins on a couple of occasions. Like, how much does still 2013 stand out for you as whatever they've gone through in 10 years, there's just that and everything else for you? Or is it just a mixture?
Yeah. So you're a Toronto sports fan, and thank goodness you have the Raptors coming through the 1 year. You're a Toronto sports fan, and you can't get over Game 7 of the Jays against the Dodgers because it's piled on in a bigger way, going back to like, I remember, like, you know, you're gonna there that they were going to next round of the playoffs. So I was euphoric as a media member, just whatever, not just as a Leaf guy, euphoric. And who knew that was the start of a constant battering, a bevy of fan abuses the way they went out. I'm not saying the players deliberately abuse the fans, but how much can you take? And you still go back to that one, home and cooled out. And who was it that had the breakaway? A marginal player that could have anyway.
Matt Fratton.
That's it, Matt Fratton. Then you kind of go, could James Reimer have held on? You know, got it, kind of slowed things down, whatever. And then you thought, okay, we're that close. Jonathan Bernier in, Dave Bolland in, David Clarkson, the big free agent signing, and you took one big step for a man, and Leafkind took two big steps backwards. So then you had to kind of go at it again, and disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. Then Boston. The puck is dropped. Mitchie Marner, Morgan Riley, the goalie. Where the hell are you? David Pastrnak puts it in again. Like, at least, and then last year, you don't even add any drama to it. You just go out and say, okay, we got a game 7, but we're going to treat this like the worst game of the season. That was a new format. This is going to be our worst effort all year of our 100 games. So give them credit. It was a new effort. Sadly, the residue permeated in the start of the regular season.
So
sounds like your manifesto.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Do you want my health card number?
So, Gordo, I'd love to get you. You know, you typically have such a positive take on where things are at with the Leafs. Well, I've been talking about how it would be really good for them to get you get into the bottom 5 and get a top pick. You know, who's going to be a part of things next year? What are these guys? What should fans be watching for over the next 4 weeks or 3.5 weeks, whatever it is, trying to look towards next season?
Okay, I had a guest column in the Toronto Star. I guess Kippy's not writing this week. He got some writer's block, so they took one of my columns. And I phrased it just today, and I phrased it properly. I didn't say this is the worst Leaf of all time.
Yeah.
I said this is the most disappointing season of all time.
Yeah.
And I actually gave ownership some props because I said the Harold Ballard era was an era unto its own. Steve Stavro had the money shorts, and the teachers' pension fund were so orgasmic, just saving money for pencils and that they didn't care what they put on the ice. So you had 3 different ownerships that really, you know, the priority wasn't on the ice. So, Justin, your question was, back in '85, look forward to getting Wendell Clark first overall, had Al Frady, Todd Gill, Russ Courtnall, Steve Thomas, you name it. And more current, 2016, look forward to getting Austin Matthews overall. And you had Nazem Kadri, Morgan Riley, William Nylander, Mitch Marner. So I remember 2016, the last weekend of the season, P.A. Parenteau was the only Leaf to get 20 goals. That was neat. There's nothing like that this year. Okay. There's not even a sideshow, whatever, you know, hey, come see P.A. Parenteau, who will never play another game here, be the only guy to get 20 goals. This is, and I'll be a glass half full guy, but you're sitting there with what went wrong in the season in the boardroom, and you start to look at the papers, and instead of what goes first, you throw up on them. I mean, that's how you feel. You kind of go, I cannot believe all this stuff went wrong. Then you wipe them off, probably get them reprinted, and you kind of go, okay, let's go back at about, you know, just what still is good, because that's important. Mm-hmm. And just, hey, it just got collectively, things fell off the rails. They came on the rails for a little bit, but then, like Doug McLean does every Friday, they went where they started, off the rails.
Fair enough.
Where are you, Gord, with the goaltending? You know, Saturday night, Stolarz leaves after warm-up. Then we hear he went to the hospital only to be released and return to the team and travel home. Is it possible that whether it's Brad Treliving next year or somebody else coming in, that you're going to go back to Stolarz and Joseph Woll and say, hey, let's give it another try?
Didn't Willie Nylander hit another goaltender once, and they had
Garrett Sparks.
Garrett Sparks, that's right. So maybe Willie shouldn't be in the warm-ups, which I think he'd be fine with. Okay, he may be the one guy. Again, Kippy, you know, like, hey, look at me, glass half full guy. I wrote one program article this year, and I wrote this being a goaltending tandem comparable, looking back to Jacques Plante and Bernie Parent decades ago. That's how they got me hook, line, and sinker last year about having a goaltending tandem. So again, that is one of those things that what is it? They're both signed. You're not going to land a big name goaltender. I mean, you look at Columbus, Jet Greaves all of a sudden becomes that guy. Maybe one of the guys from within becomes that guy, just like Jet Greaves has in Columbus. So there's no big fish to come here. The hope has to be like a lot of things, what was in 2024, 2025 is more indicative of these guys' goaltending skills. First of all, Joe Woll, I'm not belittling whatever the issue was, but started the season, he just disappears. And that kind of, again, set the template for a lot of things just not starting right, and at the end of the season not finishing right.
I know you mentioned decades ago with Jacques Plante and Bernie Prompt. You're safe to say over half a century ago.
Well, yes, but seriously, okay, either of you guys come up with a better tandem, two goaltenders, I know you what it is, than last year Stoll Larson, Joe Woll did. And you got Curtis Jost, you've got Ed Belfour, but you don't have a tandem. So yes, 50 years ago, and that yes, I am proudly the historian that way, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I like it.
The check went through. That's all I care. And next week, I'll write a column trashing them. How about that? That's what we'll do.
So on the complete opposite end of the spectrum from the huge names you were just referencing, Leafs fans are looking at some of the call-ups now and going, can we keep this guy? Is this anything? So Bo Grew's been in there, Quillen's been in there, Pazzetta's in. Is there anyone so far that you're like, okay, this is going to be a part of the solution here?
No.
Okay.
No, but be part of the team, yeah, and
Okay.
maybe. Like, they need the Zach Hyman thing. The guy that comes in a nondescript trade from Florida, plays a little bit from the Marlies. Now, that's way best case scenario, but something like that, one or two hits like that become solid NHLers. Sadly, the Stanley Cup dream, which I held, and it was a very reasonable thing to hold for that group, is gone. Now it's about, you can't do a rebuild. You got to kind of do some kind of retool and maintain respectability and hope you can grow incrementally. You got no Macklin Celebrini come. That's Austin Matthews. That's Mitch Marner. You had your chance in the stacked fishing pond there, and you did two pretty good hooks. You're not there for a while. I know people are hoping be in the bottom five now and get a top five pick and see how that plays out, but I don't think they'll get there.
Gord, you sit there, you've had one of those rare views along with Doug McLean of being an executive, a general manager. Behind the scenes at this point, many people thought that they would have had a coaching change, but that didn't happen. Is Brad Treliving coming back or not? We don't know. Where do you think it's leaning towards? What do you think's going on in their assessment so far going into these last few weeks?
So my column started off just about back in 1984, 85. Dan Maloney was the head coach, and a guy I loved. He's since passed, but with 12 games left, and I know I've said this on the show before, but he's getting his skates tied up right around now for this and just for practice, and says, Gordy, don't you wish the season could end yesterday? Okay. And honestly, that's how they're feeling, because you might as well work in a morgue right now than just be around there. It's like being a zombie and all that. So I think what's different was having the youth before. You had some chips to play. You knew they were already in play, and you're going to go back to the card game with some pretty good cards and, the maturing process. And now, so behind the scenes, things that you never expected to be on the table, everything are on the table. Like, I can't see Craig Berube coming back. I have zero against him. I have no idea if the players aren't playing. I don't know. It just, they just don't seem to dig his style. I don't know what it is. And I don't think he digs being their coach anymore. No. And I love the guy, and I think he's a solid NHL coach, and get a crack somewhere else. That's no indictment by me. The general manager, he said it starts with me. And again, I have empathy. I've been there. I'm not here to trash anybody, but all of a sudden his body of work is not that impressive. The guys with snot at the expense of guys with skill didn't cut it. And also, I think Kyle Dubas did a good job making the cupboard bare, but you made it further bare. So all of a sudden, you're part of it, that you had. Okay, the unthinkable happened, but you always got to try to be ready for the unthinkable, or you got to figure out why the unthinkable did. And obviously, it's something everyone's accountable, top to bottom. Include Keith Pelley had a lot to say when he came a couple of years ago. I'm not taking shots at people. I'm just saying that from top to bottom, this is a very, very different animal than anyone thought it would be. And there were some pretty big promises and big things that were said.
So, Gord, one of the things I find myself wondering is like over the past, call it 10 years, 9 years, whatever this run has been, it's been very successful. They made the playoffs over and over, 100 points over and over, basically competed with the best teams and in many cases lost the team that would win a cup. Ton of success is my point. We come out of this today after all that success, and over that time, it feels like the Raptors passed them in being the cool team. That it kind of became, I don't know, like, does it feel like the vibe about the Leafs is somehow down even after all the success? Like other organizations, I know often like Chicago won cups before they bottomed out, but like you get to eat off your success for a bit before everyone goes, what a joke organization. They haven't been a joke, but it just feels like.
But they also haven't been successful.
Well, it depends what you term success, I guess. Like,
Conference final, Stanley Cup final.
Been able to be invested for a decade, which in Leafs, as long as I've been alive, that hasn't been the case for the Leafs.
So back when I started with the Leafs in like late 1970s, 1980, I took business courses at University of Toronto, and I would take those courses and then come, and it would not apply in the slightest to Harold Ballard's Toronto Maple Leafs. Okay, the business model, you could not wreck that Leaf. Okay, and sometimes we take phone calls because you answered the phone back then, and they'd always go like people would ask for crap. And whatever, you couldn't, oh, well, no wonder you guys are losers. I'm going to call the Jays. Now you don't phone anybody. Nobody's going to help you. But anyway, so the Jays, they won World Series and that, but that thing is, it's all, you don't get an argument. Is it a hockey town or not? It's a great sports town, but the Leaf thing, it has the deepest roots, the deepest fabric. Okay. But but right now, yeah, the sexy team are the Jays. They're the sexy team. Okay. They are right now. Mm-hmm. So the average sports fan, and Justin, unlike the other two instances that I talked about, 2016 and 1985, I believe this is the first time what the market will bear cost-wise. A pair of golds next year are $720 for a pair for a regular season game. And I just, my friends in that, I'm hearing that, it's they tolerated the price increases while the team was really good. Just like last year, if the Jays weren't really good, I don't know how a lot of those new amenities would have done, right? And that's the thing nowadays. You're asking for a big dollar, which is great, but also I think you're more in peril if the product's not there on the ice. I think off the ice, they've got a bigger job than they've ever had historically to do.
We're older than these guys, and we can go back decades, as you like to say, where it just didn't matter. This market was almost recession-proof and bulletproof, whether they made the playoffs or not. You're saying those days are over.
Yeah. No, the tickets were always hot. Season tickets were like gold bars. And I'm just as an average guy right now. Okay, an average guy. I can't find anyone to get in I had a season ticket package. It's been dwindling cost-wise, whatever. And that's just the fact about the guys. They still love the Leafs. But as far as if you only got so much money to spend, and I'm just saying that's a new reality. That's just a new challenge, I believe, that they're going to face. But most sports teams do. That's kind of the model, right? And that's why, Justin, I go back to 1980. And again, way better way stabler ownership nowadays than Harold. But just basically, you couldn't wreck the demand for on regular TV, sold out all the time, and an ongoing demand for tickets for a team that didn't make the playoffs most years back then. That's not the same right. That I don't think that's the same right now, and that's happened rather quickly.
Mm-hmm. All right, Gord, really appreciate you stopping by, pal. Thanks for doing this.
Can you do something with the potholes, Kyper? What's going on with the potholes?
I've written letters, Gord.
Okay. Get on it.
Just drive slow, Gord. Drive slow.
Hey, no, you don't have to worry about Gord driving slow.
Oh, yeah, don't. Way to go, Justin. That's a softball.
Actually, bait. That's bait.
The only thing I recommend for potholes with you is you get a rope to climb out just in case you fall in and can't get out. You're so slow.
Oh, okay, I'll find one. I'll look right now. Thanks, Kippy. Let's see you, Justin.
Thanks, everybody.
We should go.
All right.
Did you have a reflection that you have?
No, just the challenges right now for this hockey club on and off the ice, as Gord alluded to, man. It's going to be a challenge.
Can I tell you what the answer is?
Let's hear it.
Think long term. You cannot have some short term fix. Try to keep butts in the seats, yada, yada. You got to build a winner.
Okay. All right.
By the way, 2013, always the worst.
The most pain.
Always.
It's not even close.
Not even close.
Even watching the overtime goal, off the bank.
Like, obviously, all of these in the moment, pain, clearly, but just the 2013 thing was so unexpected, and they were just in Game 7, and Kadri shoots it in to make it 4-1. I'm like, oh my God.
I don't want to do a manifesto on it, but there's like teenagers almost now that weren't born when it happened.
It is funny.
So can you just
how long
remind them
ago
if
that
they're
I'm good.
listening for
No,
the
I'm
first
good.
time?
No. Go to YouTube. Type in worst loss ever Leafs. You'll find it. I'm not talking about it. Come on.
4-1.
I still have to flip the channel every time a highlighter comes
They
on.
were up 4-1
Yes.
with 10 under 10 minutes to go.
I think it was either Nazem Kadri banged in a rebound off a Phil Kessel shot, or Phil Kessel banged in a shot off a Nazem Kadri rebound, one or the other. They went up 4-1. Puck started flying in the net. Matt Fratton had a breakaway to make it 5-2 when it was 4-2. Flubbed the backhand, had upstairs all day. Then they tied it late. Then Patrice Bergeron scores in overtime. And then it goes to Grapes after. Me crying in my beer and him screaming, "Point! You got to cover the point!" And I was like, Grapes, man. I know, Grapes. Like, he was just screaming
That was
point.
like Cole Notes Manifesto Deluxe
There you
right
go.
there.
2013, ask any Leaf fan, it'll always be the worst. Not
Great
even
job,
close.
Jeremy
Sammy.
Kennedy.
Great job, my friend.
My
All
buddy.
right, let's take a quick break. Andy Brickley will join us to tee up the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. Commentator for NESN when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Toronto Maple Leafs tonight, facing the Boston Bruins.
Before we get to Brick, I got like 4 DMs about this jersey and about people in the YouTube chat. I left it as the Jays on purpose. It's the opening week of the Major League Baseball season.
Yeah, we're not going to do the whole week, though, are we?
I
with
left
the
it up.
Jays?
Yes. Why not?
I'm not the producer. I don't know.
When's game 1?
And they're not happy?
People are DMing me. Change the freaking jersey. Blah, blah, blah.
No, this is the one time in 5 years he meant to do it.
I meant to leave it.
It was discussed pre-show.
Actually, Mark Boffo, the producer of Blair and Barker before us, was like, you want me to leave it up? And I said, yeah, leave it up.
There was the discussion.
There you go.
That's the level of
And somehow
in-depth.
it probably has a lot to do with maybe being therapeutic for you.
Well, I just love baseball. I can't wait. I love baseball. I watch 150 games regardless of the season, and they're supposed
You're not
to be
going to
pretty
leave
good.
us for Blair and Barker, are you?
No,
As a third wheel?
I don't think my takes on there would be very good. Barker just
They're
kill
not
me.
very good here either,
Fair.
but we
Oh
can
my
keep you
God.
around.
You'd be within an arm's length
Fair.
of Barks, and
Yeah.
I don't like your chances to make it by the All-Star weekend in July.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Barks is quite a guy.
Leaf stuff. Riley back in the lineup tonight. OEL in the lineup. Pizzetta in the lineup.
Okay.
So we got some stuff going on here. Yarncroke found his way out.
All right, let's welcome in Andy Brickley, Boston Bruin analyst, commentator for NESN. Brick, how are you, my friend? Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, how you guys doing? It's a little disappointing. I mean, it's always great. It's Boston, Toronto, but it's a little disappointing that I don't really look forward to a postseason between these two teams. Unfortunately, not going to happen this year.
That free W
No, and
you
I
used to get.
say that in all sincerity. I mean, it's been great hockey. Come on.
You're going to miss those uppercuts and left hooks, right?
Really gonna miss beating on you guys.
If we went back a year ago and we let's face it, it's been a hot button topic here, where the Leafs are, particularly around the Carlo trade and whether or not they'd be dropping into a top 5, whether Boston's going to get the pick or not. But, setting that aside for a second, just Fraser Minten and where he was this time last year and where he finds himself in the Boston Bruins in a playoff spot, and this guy on a line with Pasternak. Like, what are the odds?
Yeah, his growth as a player this year has been exponential. And, I talked to people that were familiar with his game and where his ceiling might be. And the one recurring theme that I got in my conversations with these people that were far more on top of who the player was than I was that, he may not wow you with incredible offensive statistics, but this kid's a hockey player. And when I hear that and then I see him play and I see him apply the lessons that he learns game in and game out throughout the course of the season to the point now where the trust in him is that you can play him on a line with David Pastrnak. In fact, that he can protect David Pastrnak when David gets a little too risky with the puck. It really speaks volumes of his hockey IQ, his maturity, his understanding of the coaching, the messaging, and to have that kind of growth in a young player is critical for any team in this league. You need young players that are inexpensive, if you want to use that term, to be impactful players. If you're going to be, I don't know if the word's elite, but if you're going to be a really competitive team. And I've seen that in a number of guys for the Bruins this year. You take a look on the left side on that line, and that's Murat Hustadinov. The growth in his game almost mirrors what we're seeing from Fraser Minten. So those are some of the nice side storylines that have gone on this year in Boston with this reset. And I think a lot of people are surprised, and I'll put myself in that category as to how much the Bruins have won this season when you looked at the roster at the beginning of the year.
So, Rick, give us an assessment of what the Bruins are this year. I remember Sportsnet somewhere did a board last season that was like, put all the teams in the Atlantic in categories of where they are, and the Bruins were the only team in the rebuilding category at the time. Cut to a year later, they look like a playoff team. Or where are they in their sort of rebuild contention window?
Well, I think what they did or didn't do at the trade deadline, I think gives you a peek behind the curtain as to what they think, where they are and what their expectations are, and the plan that they put in place when they moved a lot of quality players and people out the door in order to get this reset. In order to complete or continue the plan, their drafting this offseason or their deal making this offseason will further the idea of the organizational plan they put in place. But the fact that they didn't go out and get rentals like they've done in the past when they were a quality team that thought they could go all the way to the Stanley Cup final, they tried to add. Some years they really added, and then only to go out in the first round. So it was a clear message to the Bruins fans, Bruins Nation, to the players in that locker room that we believe you're a playoff team. We're not going to subtract. If we could add maybe a right shot defenseman, a lot of those guys were on the move this trading deadline. But I think everything that didn't happen around the deadline gives you a pretty good idea where the Bruins are in terms of the organizational plan, where they're heading, what they want to do, what their vision is. But at the same time, the expectation is where it is. And that expectation can change throughout the year. But the expectation is that we are a playoff team. We're in the playoffs now. It's going to be a tough battle all the way to the end. But we believe with the group that we have and we stay healthy that it's going to happen. And that's also part of the growth process for the players that are experiencing this for the first time, that are going to end up being, part of that next wave of leadership. Speaking of Fraser Minten, that next wave of leadership for the Bruins. They try to address certain areas. They wanted to be a tougher out. They wanted to be tougher to play against. You look at Janot, you look at Kastelik, you look at Zadorov. That's the type of hockey that you have to have if you're going to be the Boston Bruins. You have to have those types of players that can not only handle the rough stuff, but they can be good offensive or good role players or good penalty killers or good third and fourth line guys. And they've gotten good results from them. Their power play needed to be better. They went out and brought in Steve Spott. He gets a lot of credit for the messaging that he's given, his approach to what a man up should look like. It's been good most of the year. They're in a dry spell right now. That needs to improve down the stretch if they're going to get in. So those are pretty much the themes that surrounded this team coming into the year. They checked a lot of boxes. Were they perfect? No. Were there some games where you were wondering about this team's future in the short term? Can they make the playoffs when it didn't look good, the eyeball test? But they're 7-3-3 after the break. And I know some nights it doesn't look good, and they had a couple of heartbreaking losses on a recent road trip in Jersey and Montreal. But these guys compete, and I give the coaching staff and Marco a lot of credit because the messaging has been consistent. It's been spot on, and the players play hard for the guys behind the bench.
You're listening to Andy Brickley, Boston Bruins analyst, color commentator for NESN, as we tee up the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins. Goaltending, we'll see Anthony Stolarz for the Maple Leafs. As far as the goaltending between Swayman and Korpisalo, just tell us a little bit about it. More so Swayman, because Andy, at the beginning of last season, we know there was a holdout. We know that there was a massive contract, and we also know that he got off to a terrible start last season. And, sometimes we get accused of being too hard on goaltenders up here, man. But I can recall the Boston Bruins fans being all over Swayman on whether or not it was worth it to pay him all that money. But tell us about his year and the tandem of Korpisalo as well.
Coming into the year, it was a year of redemption, I guess you'd say, for Jeremy Swayman. He has so much believability in himself that he thought he could handle missing training camp, the lockout, the pressures of playing up to the contract. He never really got traction. He had a bad year last year, and it was a learning process, and it was a humbling learning process. And he came in, he had a great World Championships. I don't know if you guys value that or not. You can go one way or the other on that side of the argument, but it worked for him. And despite that goal that he let in the Olympics, and we like to tease him about that, he's been unbelievable coming out of the break. And he's really created a gap between, that performance and believability, in having him in the net more often than not when it talks about Korpisalo. They're a good tandem. At the beginning of the year, Korpisalo made it clear he thought he should have played more the year before when Jeremy was struggling. The message was, well, we were trying to find him. We tried to get him to his A game, so maybe we overplayed him. He never got there, and then the trading deadline came. So the intention was to have maybe a 55-45% split coming into the year, but the way it stands right now with the premium on points, the expectation is Swayman plays the majority of the games, and you're not worried about Korpisalo getting his touches. So But it is the National Hockey League. It is the condensed schedule. They have, I think, 4 more back-to-backs, 3 and 4s. So Korpisalo is going to get his nights where he's going to have to deliver. But right now, Swayman is the clear-cut number one. He's been one of the best goaltenders in the league. He's one of the best guys that has been able to make saves in the high danger variety. The percentage there has been excellent. I'm sure he's top 5 in that category, not to get bogged down with analytics. But I love his game right now. I think he's the Bruins' best opportunity. And I'd be curious to think what you guys would do going into this set. You got Toronto tonight, Buffalo tomorrow. They're going to split the games. Would you roll Swayman tonight, Korpisalo tomorrow, or Korpisalo tonight, Swayman tomorrow? What would you guys do?
It's a great question and a long-running one here about just get the points where you can and don't take any for granted. So I think a lot of people would say Swayman tonight. I personally think Swayman tomorrow, but what's that, Sammy?
The Leafs do suck.
The Leafs do suck, so I'd hold on to Swayman for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm okay with Swayman tonight too as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well, that's the way they're going to go, and I think that was the expectation from the majority of us when we were having a discussion this morning or yesterday as to which way the Bruins would roll it out.
Brick, really appreciate your time, my friend. Enjoy the game tonight. Thanks for doing this.
Good to talk to you guys.
Andy Brickley,
appreciate your time.
Boston Bruins.
It's funny, just that backhanded right off the top about the Leafs playing.
But he was being serious. He was saying, they've had great series.
They have. Great series. So many fantastic
One
series.
day you'll go on Boston radio and
Never.
talk about
They
the Bruins that way.
They got way too many good people down there to do radio. They don't need me. You guys want to do the Leafs tank guide for tonight?
Yes.
Okay. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I also just want to talk a couple Bruins things to watch. So remember when Morgan Geekie was like, hey, he could make the Canadian Olympic team.
Yeah, he's scored since then or what?
Yeah, 41 games since. He's got 14 goals. So he's slowed down significantly. 1 goal in the last month.
Okay.
He slowed down. This Kuznetsov, is that not like, well, this guy's top line with pasta all year long.
He's got a little Zuccarello in him.
He's 5'11 or 5'10.
Yeah, he's a lot bigger than Zuccarello.
Yeah.
But he kind of reminds me of him.
Yeah, he's got 30 points in 65 games. He's not. Here's what I'm saying. Is Brick no longer listening? I think they're going to miss the playoffs.
Really?
I think the Bruins are going to miss the playoffs.
Well, we got a big one in Detroit tonight with the Ottawa Senators as well.
Yeah.
That'll go a long way. And Columbus seems to be the hottest of the bunch.
Boston has 5 of their last 12 at home. After Toronto tonight, they play 4 playoff teams in a row. That lineup is.
They got Swayman.
I've seen their underlying numbers. They don't score.
But listen, if
Swayman produce chances at all.
I'm sorry, but like even Ottawa, and give Reimer full credit, but like they had 4 shots on goal. But under different circumstances, like play your star goalie back to back if you need to.
You're talking about Ullmark.
If Swayman plays tonight and has a decent to average night,
he could play again.
Play tomorrow.
Good Lord,
he's facing 12 tonight, so he could definitely play again tomorrow.
I don't know.
Sam, you're so negative.
Well, they
Why
have
can't you be
14
like
against
me and JB?
They had 14 against the Sens. Anyways, tank guide.
Tank guide.
Okay, so shout out to a guy on Twitter called Nice Guy on Twitter because he just does it. He just does it every single day. He does the Leafs tank guide, and now I'm just taking it from him. Okay. So you're contributing to the show,
You're
Nice
a
Guy.
co-producer.
Yes. So tonight, the Leafs need to lose in regulation to the Bruins. Pretty clear. The Chicago Blackhawks need to beat the Islanders.
Do we have a standings board?
Oh, I can't sign up for that.
Okay. The Blues need to beat the Capitals.
Yes, big one.
The Sharks need to beat the Preds. The Jets need to beat the Golden Knights. And the Flames need to beat the Kings. If all of these happens, the Leafs would move from 6th last to 27th overall and be 2 points up from 5th last and 3 points up from 3rd last, 30th overall.
Yeah. That was a lot of events you needed to go, a lot of upsets in one night.
Yeah, listen, it's a long shot, but that's what we need.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for.
You know why I
tonight, the
really
tank
don't
watch.
care about tanking?
You sure about that?
Because I can't follow that.
No, too much.
It's
What?
too much. My head hurts listening to that.
I have looked at the
don't know
standings
who.
closely. You
It's
need
not that
Winnipeg
crazy.
and the Rangers to win a bunch.
Leafs
And
lose,
some losses.
Blackhawks win, Blues win, Sharks win, Jets win, Flames win. A bunch of great teams right there. No problem.
Rangers didn't do any favors
Oh, they suck.
last night.
Holy crap, that was ugly. I tried. I went into Amazon. I got the Amazon on.
Really
tried
tried.
to do it. It was painful.
Ottawa's got 4D. Ottawa has 4D.
Connor Sheary did
me tell you
score
something.
late, and I was like, oh, they're gonna blow
That
this.
team plays hard, and if you're really well coached and disciplined, you can miss a guy or two and still kind of look the same. But Travis Green has that team going.
I have heard from many people in the Eastern Conference, two, who, and talked to some other people that I threw this at who agreed, is that no one wants Ottawa, that they think they're the best of Detroit, New York, Boston, Columbus.
They could
Pittsburgh.
find themselves
in
a final, but they got a really loose cannon in that.
Yeah,
in Allmark.
Totally.
No idea what that guy's going to be. The best goalie in the world, the worst goalie in the world, or where did he go?
I mean, we're going to do it in the national hour, but I think I saw somewhere that it's maybe Money Puck, that it's a 26% swing tonight, this for playoff
implications.
Is that right?
This Red Wings Ottawa game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's as big a regular season event as you can have. 26%.
What's the Tank website again?
Tankathon.
Tankathon.
I got it up here if you want me to run one for you.
Let's see. How do we do?
All right.
Give it a run.
Here we go. And with the first overall pick in the 2026 entry draft, the Florida Panthers pick first. I've gotten Florida Panthers so many times.
Buddy, the Panthers are...
I got Washington, Brooklyn, and Sacramento.
You got to toggle it from NBA, pal.
Oh, shoot. I'm on the wrong one.
Brooklyn. All right, and with my second try, Seattle gets the first overall, and the Boston Bruins get the 6th overall pick from the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I think the Eastern...
Chicago, Winnipeg.
Well, I was looking at the bottom 5 teams. The NHL has the Rangers and the Blackhawks in there. You got to imagine they're freezing some envelopes to make those two happen. Otherwise, it's Calgary, Toronto, Vancouver.
Oh, Toronto doesn't drive revenue for the league? Is half the reason that half the teams exist is because Toronto exists.
Not many outdoor games, are they, Sam?
Plenty still to get into in our national hour. Steve Valiquette, of course, lots of talk about warm-ups these days. We heard from me. We heard from Sammy yesterday. Our good buddy Craig Simpson also voiced in Saturday night.
Yeah, and via text.
But none of us actually played the position, but our next guest has. Steve Valiquette will join us after the break. If you get a chance on YouTube, give a thumbs up for Gord Stellick as well. Terrific, as always. All right. We go national next on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show with Steve Valiquette. Valley up next. All right, it's Tuesday. Let's kick her up on the national edition of the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet, Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, 960 in Calgary, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. If you miss our show, can't catch us live, download us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course, there's YouTube and that wonderful chat where we always appreciate a thumbs up for our show. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. In a few minutes, we'll welcome in Steve Valiquette, analyst with the New York Rangers on MSG, CEO, ClearSight Analytics. Before we get into anything specific, it's been a tough couple of days, around the globe. We just want to send our deepest condolences to the family of Jesse Pierce, who died tragically on the weekend, Saturday. Her and her 3 kids and the family dog in a house fire. And I didn't know her, but I do know that she did wonderful work for NHL.com. And if it's one thing that I know, being in this business for over 20 years, is how close the NHL media fraternity is. Mm-hmm. And this one stung.
Yeah. I mean, everyone just said a big personality and a delight, one of the people who injected joy into our game, a real loss for the hockey community.
Yeah. And, okay, let's send out condolences as well to the pilot and co-pilot who was killed on Air Canada as well in another tragic incident where their jet collided with a Port Authority vehicle as well. So,
said.
tough last couple of days. In the meantime,
hockey.
Steve Valiquette will join us. Of course, one of the hot button topics, at least around here and probably around the league as well, is goaltenders and taking shots to the head. And we've seen it before. Have you ever experienced that personally where you had to go and apologize? I certainly have.
Yeah, lots. In particular, I would say more the backup goes in and you're like, all right, if you're warming up to be a darts player, like you're about to go into a game of darts, you're not warming up by throwing it into the middle of the 4. You're throwing it the triple 20 once in a while. And so you, as a shooter, you like to warm up too. And the odd time it gets away from you. I'm no William Nylander, obviously, but 14 years of shooting it high for Willie, caught up with him for a second time.
Okay, lots of takes in the last few days from guys that never put the pads on in our lives at a high level. Maybe a few times in practice.
Did you?
Yeah. Did you ever do that?
No.
Oh
no,
my God.
It looks like a nightmare.
Buddy,
I went in beer league like 2 years ago, and because our goalie rolled his ankle, and can't believe anybody would willingly do that. It's horrible.
I did a few things like that, and Mike Richter would dress me like I was 7 years old putting on a snowsuit.
I have to pee.
Yes,
take it off.
Pretty much. Yeah. All right. Valley, how are you, my friend?
Very good, boys. How are we?
Wow, sporting a Toronto Maple Leaf hat for those of you that cannot,
ironically, I think,
cannot watch. Is there a message behind that hat?
Yeah, well, I bought it after they were up 2-0 against Florida last year. I didn't get an opportunity to wear it. and now I'm looking at the game tomorrow night, and this is what I'm rooting for.
You're rooting for them. You need the Rangers to drop.
This is how the tank works.
That's hilarious.
And then I put the glasses on because I need to be in disguise if I'm going to be wearing this hat.
The Tank Cup coming your way Wednesday night, Toronto and New York. Let's start with warm-ups. And how many times has it happened? Does it happen more often years ago? Does it still happen today? We're, of course, talking about Willie Nylander taking out Anthony Stolarz with a warm-up shot. It's wide open for you. The only thing I questioned at times, the biggest question I have for you is in today's game with a mask and the ability for neck protectors, how the heck can Willie hit somebody in the throat?
I'm a specialist in this conversation. You guys got the right person on, right? I was a backup goalie. So here's how it works. Number one, as a coach, I can't tell you how often in practice when I'm working with a goalie that he gets hit in the head and it's his fault. not the shooter's fault, his fault. The goalie's job is to come down with the puck. If you drop early, you oftentimes get hit in the head where you could have received it in the chest. The only time it's the shooter's fault is if it's 5 feet over the net and I'm standing up. That's the only time. But it happens all the time in practice where a shooter's going to skate over to one of the goalies I'm coaching and he's about to say sorry. And I'll say, hey, man, just get back in line. It was his fault. It's your fault. You went down early, right? And then the kid, he'll say, yeah, I went down early. All right, let's keep moving it along here.
Yeah.
So that's one. Now, in this case, Stolarz was standing up. In warmups, I used to instruct our shooters to shoot at my gloves because if they shoot 5-hole, I've got to go down 50 times in warmups and I want to conserve my energy. So a shot high is actually what you want. You don't want shots 5-hole. Up, down, for what reason? You're just expending energy for no reason. Now, with Stolarz's shot, where it came from, top of the circles, snapshot, roughly 60, 65 miles per hour maximum, not a rip. Sammy, I almost drove off the road yesterday when I heard you say it was a rip. That wasn't a rip, Sammy. That was the opposite of a rip. It was
I'm taking a beating for saying that William Nylander shoot a puck in the head is a bad thing. Sorry, I'm taking a beating here.
I know, I love you. You're coming from a good place. But here it is, guys. He was either not engaged, Stolarz, meaning he was just floating through a warm-up and he wasn't engaged, or he didn't see it right, I think is the only other excuse you could come up with. He didn't see it right, and I think that lends itself to believe that he wasn't paying attention or he wasn't intent in his practice. It doesn't hurt, okay? And the only way you can get hurt there is if you are standing straight up and down and your neck is exposed. I've seen one person get hit in the neck, and it was Henrik Lundqvist, 14-15 season. If you guys can remember, Cam Talbot came in and ran the table for the Rangers. But what happened on Henrik's was a stick in front of him during a net scrum lifted his helmet up, and then he got his neck exposed. And by the way, it was really serious. Like it was sending trauma to his head. He could have died. He got himself into a position to get in the hospital really quickly. Now, Stolarz, I don't know how you get hit in the neck because real goalies in a crouch, I've never been hit in the neck in my life. I didn't wear the dangler. I thought that was for wimps. And I didn't have anything there. Like I thought that was, and I also don't like the dangler because it moves and it gets in front of your eyes when you move direction or you look down to get a rebound. At any rate, I don't see how it happens. It shouldn't have hurt. You're too padded. This guy is driving me nuts this year. He's so good. I just want to shake him and say, man, you're a legit number one goalie. Just go out there. You're getting the easy stuff wrong.
It's funny. He said that Austin Matthews told him just keep your chin tucked. He goes, maybe I'll try to remember that next time.
Well, that's what tracking is, Bourne. Your chin is tucked.
Yeah.
And here's the next thing. Sometimes guys aren't working on their eyes enough. There are exercises that you should be doing during a season. You can take lapses in your play. And that one there, it catches him. That shouldn't surprise him, that shot. That should be an easy one. So I don't know if it's that too, because there are blind spots. Look, I'm watching Joseph Wall the other night, and he's getting beat under his glove like it's his birthright. But it's almost like he's got a blind spot in the left lower part of his eye. He's just not seeing it.
Well, the fascinating thing here is we're going to see this Maple Leafs team go up against the team you cover Wednesday night. So I watched the Rangers play last night. You know what I think about last night. What am I watching? What's
the pre-scout?
They never had the puck valley. What's happening? What's going on with the Rangers?
Oh my God. So after the second intermission, we were talking about the NHL record for the franchise with fewest shots on goal. The NHL started taking shots on goal in the mid-50s. And the record went back to 1955 against the Detroit Red Wings, where the Rangers had 9 shots on goal in that game. And then 2 hours ago, they added a shot. So now it's 10. It was at 9 this morning. Now, I went to our database and we have our looks at everything, and we still have them at 9. I think somebody did somebody a favor somewhere, but there's only been 3 instances since 1950s that we've had 11 or fewer shots on goal. And right now we're sitting at 10. It might change before midnight tonight. We'll see.
So if we all know how important original six teams are, Valley, to the NHL here, which one's going to come out of this faster? Toronto or New York?
I'll tell you, look,
who's got a chance at it faster?
I don't have my manifesto, okay? And by the way, Sammy, your manifesto, I want to let you guys know this is how my day went today, okay? I was on the ice at 9:00 this morning, and I listened to you guys on the way there, and I listened to you on the way back. And Sammy pulls out the manifesto about the time I'm pulling in my driveway, and I've got this seat warmer on. I'm getting warm. It was cold out on the ice this morning. I got the massage setting going. I got a coffee, and I listened for 10 minutes just to let you finish up that manifesto. And I'm thinking to myself, I need a manifesto. Where's mine? So Sammy, you could have a side hustle here. You could do one for us. You could do one for Edmonton. You could do one for Vancouver.
Oh, he's got a franchise going.
That's what I'm saying. This is great research.
It wouldn't be as impassioned. I want those other teams to fail. So,
well, it was brilliant, and I feel like if I was really prepared, I'd have mine maybe next week. But that's what we're going through, guys. Like, we are at that stage where it has been a domino, one after another that's fallen. When you go back to last year, guys, this is a team that quit on the jersey, and it was very difficult to bring back the same group this year after what happened. Valiquette gets let go, bringing a new coaching staff, only a couple of moves, Jacob Trouba, Chris Kreider, but not a full retool. And Panarin comes back, and with Panarin and Mika Zibanejad, who had his 1,000th game last night, and a lot of credit to him in his career. But when you have too many players that don't check in the playoffs, and I'm talking about back checking, and I'm talking about creating unsettled offense, which is forechecking offense, back checking offense, creating giveaways and takeaways. If you don't have that element in your game, I don't think you can win right now in 2026. The best team the last 2 years at that type of offense was Florida. This year, it's Tampa Bay. And we don't see an influx of 5-on-5 goals in zone in settled offense during the playoffs. It's a slight drop off from the regular season. It's very close to the same amount of offense off the rush. My point is, the game changes, and you have to stress your opponent in every area of the ice to be successful. The one thing that we saw with Panarin, and I went through this and I have it within arm's reach, there were 3 tries the Rangers had, 2 Eastern Conference Finals, and then a first-round loss to Ottawa. But during the final 3 games in the Eastern Conference Final for Panarin, 1 high-danger scoring chance in those 3 games, critical games, and just 2 high-danger expected assists, meaning he set his teammates up for either 2-on-1s, breakaways, but high-danger plays. And then in the final 3 games against the Devils, when they lost in the first round, 2 high-danger chances in the final 3 games, 0 high-danger primary assists. So that means he did next to nothing. Mm-hmm. And then last year, the very first year, when the Rangers went to the Tampa Bay Eastern Conference Final against Tampa Bay, games 5, 6, and 7, the final 3 games, 2 high-danger scoring chances, 1 high-danger expected assist. Not enough happened from the star players in those final 3 games, 3 years in a row. And whether it was real or imagined, or by strategic advanced thinking, the organization didn't believe they could win with the same cast of characters, because you come up empty 3 times in a row. What I've noticed in hockey is if something happens once, especially when it's critical to your own team success, it can't happen twice. If it happens twice, it's surely going to happen a 3rd, 4th, and 5th time. And I can see why the plug was pulled. But right now, Kyper, you're in a position where I looked at this today, which I thought was wild. The bottom 10 teams in the American Hockey League right now, 9 of them have parent club teams that aren't going to make the playoffs. So you could possibly have 9 of the bottom 10 teams in the American Hockey League that have both clubs not making the playoffs. So that's where the Rangers are. And that's where your future is right now. And that's why it's very trying times. And that's why I'm wearing a Toronto Maple Leaf hat today.
You're watching and listening to Steve Valiquette, analyst for the New York Rangers on MSG and CEO ClearSight Analytics. Just one more thing, just on specifics when it comes to the Rangers and the Leafs for me. Two defensemen who are paid like stars for sure, Morgan Riley and Adam Fox. Clearly underachieved this year. Fox, I think, is 4 years younger than Morgan Riley, but I think when I look at these guys in their recent struggles, sometimes I think, boy, maybe just a change of scenery might be the thing that they might need the most. Maybe less on Adam Fox, but, where are you on those two type of players and where they are particularly in their game today?
The letter that the general manager and president Chris Jury sent out a few weeks ago, it was a retool, Kyper. And a retool to me, in my observation, is Shesterkin, Adam Fox, Zibanejad, JT Miller, Lafreniere. That's it. And then everybody else is possibly going places. However, we've seen the way the NHL works right now. Can I see a world where Adam Fox wants to change? Or maybe even Shesterkin? I'm not signing up for this. Shesterkin's already out of the playoffs now for the second year in a row, and he's in his prime. And he's arguably the best goalie in the league, most talented, I think. And Adam Fox is 4 years removed from a Norris. And, I don't know what steps are going to get taken, but I think the organization has spoken loud and clear. We're moving forward, and we're going to try and fix this around the edges. However, they don't have the pieces that the Minnesota Wild had to get Quinn Hughes. Because if we're looking at how does this change, it's either Brady Tkachuk, Connor McDavid, or Austin Matthews. Those are the only three solutions I see for this rebuild in New York to get sped up. And we all know, and we don't have to debate how long we could debate on this topic, how hard that would be for any of those three guys to be available and come to New York, because I don't know if they have the pieces. What does Ottawa need, in my opinion? Oh my God, that team last night, you guys, aside from the 4 shots on goal after 2 periods, Bourne, Ottawa is dominating the NHL right now. I haven't seen before. Okay. I was pulling these numbers before the game last night. They are on a stretch now of 13 games where they've only lost the high danger battle in one of them, but they are smoking teams. Yeah. Going into the game last night, Bourne, their high danger chances for were 127 over the previous 12 games since the Olympics. And they had allowed just 76. So they're a plus 51 in high danger chances. If you give a team breakaways and 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s, they score in the NHL.
Yeah.
And the only thing that is, and we've talked about this for weeks ad nauseum, is the goaltending piece. But if they get goaltending, the Rangers had one high danger chance last night. The Toronto Maple Leafs, I don't know. I don't want to run down this whole list, but guys, it's to me, one of the best teams that we've seen in a really long time. It would be a shame if they didn't make the playoffs because of goaltending.
Yeah, it's funny seeing them, some like the underlying numbers, they're kind of pulling away. It's kind of them, Vegas, Dallas that are best defensive teams, and they can score like crazy too. They got a lot going for them. So let me ask you, tonight, one of the biggest games of the NHL season so far, Ottawa Senators, Detroit Red Wings. You've got John Gibson, who's played, I believe, 8 straight games for the Wings.
Yeah.
And Ullmark going for Ottawa, who's trying to keep that thing afloat with 4D. No Sanderson, no Shabbat, no Jensen, no Gilbert.
Yeah, that was the funny thing about the game last night, Bourne. 5 regulars on D out for Ottawa.
Yeah.
And 2 during the game were lost, and still just 4 shots after 2.
But Travis Green has them dialed in, right?
Dialed. So I got this number in front of me too, just for overall chances for this season. Again, high danger chances mean the most to me. I don't care about the fluff. High danger chances, second. Chances against, fifth. Differential, second. But since the Olympics, first. They're the best team since the Olympic break. Now, Detroit is in deep trouble. I watched their game the other night. Gibson looks, I was going to say he is either absolutely fatigued or he's just playing a very passive game right now. And I think it's more on the fatigue side. Age, ability, the way that you can really sense that a goalie is fatiguing, working towards needing rest, is they are late on every pass. So when you're watching the game tonight, take your eye off the puck and see if Gibson has even engaged his push before the puck leaves the passer's stick. And that'll give you a good sense of what's going on with him. He's having a tough time out there, and I think that the season's definitely caught up to him, and Detroit is under so much pressure. I can't believe that they're going to blow this, and it looks to me like they are.
So, Valley, we kind of debated before last night's game whether or not Ottawa, who's chasing a playoff spot, of course, should go back-to-back games with Ullmark. And, hey, they made the right decision because 4 shots is 4 shots, and they saved them, if that's the intention. But, we had Andy Brickley on, and they go back-to-back with Toronto and Buffalo, and we threw out Swayman, maybe gets both. But where are we today with these situations where teams are chasing so hard and they're contemplating whether or not to play their $8 million goalies?
I don't like it at all. In fact, to me, I just think that it speaks to the fact that they don't trust their number one. I know that when we were in the hunt a few years, Lundqvist was playing every night. And over the final 25 games, I'd sniff like 1 or 2 games. But that's because he's right there at the upper echelon of the top guys. Ullmark, I thought that if he's really truly your guy and you believe in him, you play him back to back. I thought that was ridiculous. However, Ottawa made a smart decision. The Rangers didn't have enough anyway. Sorokin, though, he came back after getting pulled this weekend, and man, did he have a performance on Sunday. I loved watching his game. He, to me, Kyper, is the one guy right now, and I'm sure if Tampa was in the position where they were near the cut line, Vasilevsky would play all the games. But Sorokin right now is the one standout that will play every game down the stretch because it matters so much to that team. And that team is a blood and guts team. It's a very good team that you can get behind. I wouldn't say cup contender, and I know, Bourne, you wouldn't say that either, but it's a team that you can cheer for, root for. They're playing hockey the right way, and they've got a guy in their net there that's a backstop that's playing blood and guts goaltending. He's out there competing. Look, he better get the Vezina Trophy. Right now, he's plus 30. He's saved his team 30 more goals than he should have. And guys, last year, Hellebuck won an MVP and a Vezina with a plus 20. So, he's in the wheelhouse. Shesterkin was a plus 37 5 years ago, and that's the best goaltending we've seen in 10 years. But Sorokin's right there. He's having that type of season right now.
Yeah, those are big numbers. So, you're looking at the best teams in the East this year. Tampa Bay comes to mind. I know some people, we talked about Ottawa, some people like Buffalo. Carolina, for me, still a very good team with a lot going for it, like their decor. Obviously, people just go out with the goaltending. So Bussy is, he's been hot and cold. Freddie Anderson has kind of been pretty good for them for a bit. I don't know. Like, they may go with him in playoffs, Valley.
That's where the lean is right now. And I'm looking at Bussy's numbers, Bourne, and he's a -8 since the Olympic break. And you guys saw the game. You guys saw the game where against the Leafs where he gives up the rebound and then ends up on his stomach, and it's a shot at him. All right, I want to talk about this.
Cost the Leafs a point, Valley. Gave him one.
So he's having a tough time. He's getting wide, and typically when a goalie gets too wide, you go down early. You actually hit them in the head more frequently, and they also end up on their stomach because that's where balance goes. Now, I'm going to segue us into grill marks right now. How'd you guys like my tweet earlier?
Oh my God, we were absolutely dying. The AI leaderboard is unbelievable.
Well, AI won't allow me to give your head and shoulder shots authenticity. It changes it up.
Hold on, Val. I don't know if you can see the screen. We have it posted right here.
I have no idea who I am.
You look like you're about to call a March Madness game.
Bang! It is you, Kyper. I grabbed that off of the web. Yeah. You had a headpiece on. You had a headpiece on.
Sammy's B. Arthur glasses.
I look like Seth Rogen.
I look like Nick Mullen, maybe. I can't tell.
These are actual pictures of you guys.
Yeah, okay.
But they just took you to World 2.
It's all right.
I don't hate
it. Best. What a blast.
All right, we like it.
I'm not saying I got to go or anything like this, but I got to get this in here because it talks about rebounds and it's a part of grill marks. We might just mix it into the conversation. So here's the thing about clear-sighted shots. Shots that come from outside the slot, right, where there's no screen on the goalie, but it's not a perimeter shot. It's not at the blue line or at the walls. You're approaching the slot. So you think you've got a shot that could potentially beat a goalie. Here's the thing about these shots. They don't create rebounds unless you're shooting for a rebound. If you're shooting for corners, you don't create rebounds. I'm on the ice every day, guys. We run these drills where I have the shooters instructed to shoot from just outside the slot, shoot to score, versus from the same spot, skating in and shooting for rebounds. And if we take 12 shots, there will be 0 rebounds if the shooter is shooting to score, and there will be 6 and sometimes 7 rebounds if they're shooting to create. That's the difference here. We had a game last week where Mike Sullivan was talking about shooting to break up the team's defensive zone structure, which was man on man. And when you're playing man on man, if you shoot to create, because you can get into lanes, you can create some chaos off of rebounds and beat your check to get there in man on man coverage. Now, what I looked up for the show, this year in the NHL, there have been 11,709 of those shots that I just described, just outside of the slot area. All right. Now, how many of those shots do you guys think it takes to create one rebound goal? Out of those 11,000, okay, it is either one rebound goal for every 105 shots, every 85 shots, or every 65 shots.
I'm going to get in the early buzzer, take 65.
I'm going higher. I'm going to 105.
Yeah, I'm going high too.
Guys, it's 105 shots to create one rebound goal. So that goal we're talking about with Bussy.
Yeah.
All right. That's a bad goal, guys.
A really bad goal. I called it. We did the game. I didn't like it at all as soon as I saw it.
It's brutal. And you know what other one too last week was Montreal and Allmark. He spits one out off of his armpit. Same shot. All right. And that's a clear-sighted rebound goal. Now, the thing about rebounds, guys, is if they stay on the same side as the goaltender, we would qualify that as a strong side rebound. Those only go in 4% of the time, guys, because the goalie's hanging over the puck and there's nowhere to go. You're just giving a free puck back to the goaltender. Okay. Now, the ones that go to the weak side of the ice this year, they're going in 42% of the time. So the key is to get a rebound to get to the weak side of the ice. But a better play when the goalie's on top of you, instead of shooting a strong side rebound right back at him, you should have a trigger there for your teammate to open up for a pass, because the pass off the rebound is the most valuable rebound in hockey. So you should be looking for that. The pass off the rebound, guys, this year it goes in 49% of the time.
You're probably better to blind, just chip it to that other side of the net, even not knowing if anyone's there, than you are stuffing it into the goalie.
Yes, Bourne. And especially at 6-on-5, Bourne, you should have 2 guys hustling the back post to be able to bang that free stuff in.
Well, you've seen Crosby and Hyman, the way they get their skates there, just in case pucks come off that back door. Like it's
where goals are scored. Correct. And I think that the misunderstanding of rebounds, creating rebounds, I think that, scoring in the NHL still has another step. You know what, boys? This one really fired me up going back to the Olympics, because the reason why Hellebuck, he had a .976 save percentage in the gold medal game. The reason why was because the Canadian team shot 15 of those shots during the game. And when you take 15 or more of those shots that I just described, the goalie's save percentage goes to a .933. All right. So they fed him. How many of those shots did Hellebuck face in the gold medal game from the dead angle, where he's just sitting in a reverse and they're trying to score? Those were opportunities to pass it off of his pad. The layer that Canada has to take, and this is at the junior level, Hockey Canada, they have to have a better and more sophisticated approach to scoring off of rebounds. It's like watching The Last Dance and seeing Dennis Rodman explain how he figured out how to be a good rebounder.
Right.
You find out what part of the rim But how do you find out what part of the rim it's going to hit? You watch the shooter's hands and his release. You can get ahead of a play. And I think that hockey in general can take another step, being more active, but almost coaching rebounds up so that players aren't conflicted with where rebounds arrive.
Good content right there, Valley. That's good stuff.
Awesome stuff.
All right, so we got to light up the rest of the grill here, boys.
Yeah. You got
Okay.
more for
All
grill?
right. Yes, I got you, boys. All right. So I talk about this one a lot, where going into the season, you need 25 points from your backup goaltender to make it to the Stanley Cup playoffs. All right. And right now we have 4 teams that do not have 25 points from their backup goalies. Now, which one of these 4 teams has the fewest points from their backup goalie? Is it Nashville, Tampa, Anaheim, or Utah?
Tampa.
I'll go Nashville.
Yeah, I go Nashville too.
Utah only has 13 points from their backup goalie.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Utah.
Vitek Vanacek. Yep.
God.
So, and I think you guys would agree. It looks like they're going to get in, so they're gonna beat the numbers there.
Yeah. Wow.
Ramelka.
Yeah, it's
All right. Now
veggie.
I'm not going to give you the name of any of the goalies here. You guys are going to have to use your hockey acumen here.
Mm.
The guy that I'm talking about here is a backup goaltender, and he's outperformed the start of this year. And he's the best performing goalie in the NHL since the Olympic break. Can you guys think of a backup goalie right now that's playing great hockey?
Want to say it at the same time?
Sam and I both have it.
Want to say it at the same time?
All right.
Well, hold on. Is Kip going to say one at the same time? How's this going to work?
Yeah, wait, Kip, you got to think strategically here. You can poach off this.
Okay. I got him.
You got it?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Devin
Devin
Cooley.
Cooley.
Devin Cooley.
Okay.
Oh, Hofer.
Oh, no. We were both on
Hofer.
Cooley.
God.
Hofer?
Yeah.
Hofer in St. Louis.
Hofer's a 909 rate, guys, save percentage right now, and Benner's still a 879. But right now, yeah.
Jeez.
And Hofer since the Olympic break, he's been terrific.
He's Canadian,
top
right?
guy. He's Canadian. It might be our next Olympic. Oh no, Hofer, American.
Is he?
Oh no,
He's
BC.
BC,
Yeah,
yeah.
out west. So yeah, he's been playing great. 6'5", big guy, man. He plays an explosive game, so he's been really good for them. And all right, boys.
Hey,
well,
just give me a quick answer on this because I want to
Yeah.
go back to Bussy. Okay. They,
It's 5:30.
no, just
brother.
wait. They signed him to a 3-year deal, roughly around $2 million a year. It's not horrible, not the end of the world, but like, is there a chance that like it's midnight and Cinderella said the ball's over here when you've had such a short sample?
oh my God, I got something for you here. Yeah, right here. All right, I'll make this quick because I know Sammy wants me off. When a young goalie under 27 has a blip like this, everything here data-wise supports the fact that you have to stick with him. The only time you get off that horse is if this type of a blip happens at age 35 plus. If it's a young guy like this, he's going to be just fine. He's going through his first full lap in the NHL. There's plenty of feedback for him. He is too wide right now. I've seen this guy play enough right now, but if you watch him play, you'll see that he ends up on his belly a lot. He's going down early. If he gets his feet back under him and he gets his posture together, he'll be just fine.
That is deep in the valley.
Thanks, Valley.
Great stuff.
All right, fellas, be good. Go
Steve
Leafs, go.
Valiquette.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Another fabulous Tuesday out of Steve.
Sickening to root for the Rangers on Wednesday. I'm doing that game. That'll be fun.
I'm
Oh,
going
you
to
guys
that game.
All right, nice.
What are you guys going to talk about?
I think the Tankathon, pal.
I love that about Hockey Canada coaching to shoot for more rebounds.
Well, I think it's just general good coaching advice. Just it's tough to beat goalies clean from distance. Play the odds, get a rebound.
I don't know how many guys, if you're, as he mentioned, like we're not talking about a point shot. We're not talking about like off the wall. We're talking about a guy who thinks he can score. How many will go to a rebound
I don't know, I've
shot?
been watching John Tavares go high blocker on those for
man.
7 years now or something, so they never go in.
Oh, boy. The fall away jumper. You hope the first one doesn't go because a bunch more are coming. It's game time presented by Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. 15 games on tap tonight, boys. 1-5. It's a lot of games. We were just talking about it a little bit with Valley there. He mentioned Ilya Sorokin should be the favorite for the Vezina Trophy. He is not the favorite, according to Bet365.
I'm sorry, what?
The favorite at minus 180 is Andrei Vasilevsky.
Out of nowhere.
He won't win.
Ilya Sorokin, still a plus number, plus 145.
Yeah,
that's a
Got to
pretty
get
good.
him in, though.
That's a pretty good number. Yeah,
Got to
you
get
gotta
him in the playoffs.
Yeah,
it's
if they get 97 points instead of 98, that changes your view on how his
it
season
does.
went.
Yeah.
That's mental.
And this is a 2-horse race, according to Bet365. The next closest is Jeremy Swayman at plus 3,300. So those are the two that they're thinking. So
Maybe Rookie of the Year is the only one I'd give away, not making the playoffs for any one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And the other thing I'll bring up tonight, Leafs in Boston. I don't know if there's ever been a more of a lock for a goal than Fraser Minten against the Leafs tonight, plus 300. So, enjoy your free money. That was game time presented by Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Okay, out of those 15 games, the one that has caught our eye the most is Ottawa and Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
I know, Sammy, watching the Ottawa Senators over the weekend, you had some maybe choice words on Brady, Tkachuk, maybe not responding to an Oliver Ekman-Larsson hit. Last night, Shabbat got taken out by JT Miller on a cross-check. Didn't really see much of a response. I want to get your response on that. No, Sammy. Come on.
All I'll say before we go to break is my mom taught me, practice what you preach. And then we can hit the break.
More Sammy when we return after the break. Welcome back to the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, and a very apologetic Radis Gudis.
Who?
Radko.
Radko.
Rad. What did I call him?
Radis.
I don't know. Raddy.
The Rad Man.
Radzi.
Radzi.
Radsy boy. Yeah.
Radko.
You want to listen?
Yeah, let's
How is
hear.
it? Hold on. What do you think?
It's good as hell.
What do you think?
Ooh.
What do I think about what?
I don't know.
What Rad?
Did you hear it already?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And-
Hold on, let me see if I put it in.
Okay, let's have a listen.
Hold on. I think I put it in.
I mean, I respect the league's decision. I respect everything. I didn't like the point of contact either. Yeah, that's why I'm looking. I gotta respect. I gotta learn. I gotta be better as a hockey player. I never want to go out there and hurt anybody. It's very unfortunate. I reached out to him too. We spoke, and I never want to see anybody get hurt. So that's I feel very terrible about that.
You say I got to respect what? Did you say respect my owner? No, he didn't say that. Maybe
No, I think he's going to improve his own game or something.
Just respect, I think, players.
Okay.
I think. I mean, okay. I mean, politically, that's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
And not ruffle any feathers.
And I do it again. Like, what's he gonna?
Hey,
let's go.
I gotta play the game hard. Deal with it.
Yeah. Who's next?
Yeah, he's like, see this knee? It's coming for you, baby.
he can miss all.
But he ain't changing. He comes at you like that.
What do you think you are? I am. Yes.
That's just his game. Just get your stick up on him. That's all. That guy's he's not changing now.
Monday
Kevin
night.
Zegers yesterday said my favorite thing on it, like, what would you have done if you were out there with the Matthews thing? And he said, I'd be Barzal. Remember Barzal when, who was it?
Chopping
Mason
down the
Marchman?
tree.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to go fight the guy who's going to beat me up, but I am going to take a chop.
Yeah.
And then John Scott tried to jump Phil Kessel, and Phil was like,
And then-
Manny Ramirez in his prime.
And then Clarkson came off the bench and got a 10-game suspension to start his Leafs career, and it all kind of went downhill from there for old David, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Pizzetta should have just jumped off the bench at him.
Well, sure.
Imagine what that would like. I mean, he would have had a statue on Legends Row the next day. Anyway,
Would have shamed his
it's
teammates
true.
too.
he honestly, yeah,
It's
it would have
true.
been a shame.
I mentioned Ottawa. You weren't too happy with.
What do you?
I don't
want
know.
me to stay here? I got into it on the weekend.
I just.
The nation's capital was mad at me because I thought that their response to Logan Gilbert, right? Or is Logan
Yes.
Gilbert? No, Logan Gilbert's a pitcher for
Dennis
the
Gilbert.
Dennis
pitcher
Gilbert.
for the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah.
Dennis Gilbert. The nation's capital was mad at me because I compared the lack of response between the Sens on the Logan Gilbert hit, Dennis Gilbert hit, to Austin Matthews. And the reason I brought it up is because Brady Tkachuk went on his super popular podcast and said that it doesn't matter if you're the top guy or your depth guy. We have to be arm in arm. We have to do anything. And I thought that nobody even trying to fight Oliver Ekman-Larsson or do anything in a 5-2 game, which you're winning handily and left one of your only 4 defensemen lying on the ice, rolling around covered in snow. I thought you maybe could have done something. So it pissed me off. And then yesterday, I don't know if we have the clip, Jake, if you can roll it or not, of, I mean, he gets,
He gives him a good chop.
Shabbat gets whacked, or I don't know if we're watching
Cross-check
here.
on the wrist. It's a pretty good.
And I'm not sure if you'll notice or not.
He might be out a while.
He's out a while.
He was out a while.
So he broke something.
But
Yeah,
I
look
don't
at
know.
this.
I don't know if you're watching.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
notice who skates behind it. I think it's wearing number 7 in white. He has a pretty good view at it. I don't know. It's just like if you're going to go on your podcast and talk crap about how big and tough you are, maybe when a guy gets cross-check, broken wrist in front of you, you should respond. That's how I feel.
As much as I
I think you make a bit of a valid point here.
Thank you.
Well,
I
yeah.
do.
So that's the point of the podcast, because to me, I can see him looking at that play and kind of thinking it's a nothing play, it's a
Yeah.
cross check, it's
Totally.
whatever. But if you have a podcast and you're going to start talking about stuff, then you're kind of going to be held to the standard of
And
your words.
I don't even know. It's not that you need to do something that could potentially get you suspended, right? Because, as Valley said,
games.
there's no team that's been better in every category than the Ottawa Senators. So you don't want to derail any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, somebody's got to go say something to, I don't know. I mean, maybe the
It's
Olympic
also-
buddies.
Well, I was just going to say,
maybe
Olympic buddies.
there
maybe-
is a relationship there that maybe superseded
Yeah.
the.
The 100 Michelobes they showed at an
there
11
are-
nightclub might have something to do with him not doing something there.
There are there are times when sometimes you can watch those events and OEL's check didn't look anything out of the ordinary, except you just knew he hit him really hard to hurt him.
Well,
okay, that we know.
He went in there.
Oh no, with intent.
With bad intentions.
With
flipped the
intent.
puck in. How many times has Oliver Ekman-Larsson flipped the puck in and got on the forecheck?
So this is the way it worked when I played. I don't know if anyone's interested or not.
I am.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of the reason the show works.
If I was on the ice and if I'm Willie or Morgan Riley or I don't know, anyone else maybe on Ottawa that night, and I didn't see it, I'm asking questions and
of who? Teammates or the other team?
Teammates. Okay. What happened? Okay, what happened? And it's like, well, Gudas went into Matthews and took his knee out. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all. Now it's as if I've seen it myself.
Okay, that's good enough for you.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Right? So in that instance, even if nobody saw it, somebody needs to say something. And even if it is a minute later, where the trainer comes back and he says that JT Miller cross-checked him and his wrist is a mess, then I've got now time to go and address it. So it doesn't have to be on the spot, but it needs to be pretty darn close on the next shift.
Did anyone ever know that you were so willing to take their word as gospel that they baited you and they were like, hey, did you hear what this guy said or what this guy did?
Like so teammates?
Like just try to get you fired up and go.
I never.
What did Tony Twist say in his podcast about you?
I never worried about teammates giving me the goods.
Okay.
Never.
Yeah, that's good.
That's just trust. What happened? Oh, so-and-so. This. Oh, all right. Okay, enough. Yeah. Enough. That's all I need to know.
I think that's what's the danger of having a podcast that's speaking on league events. It just opens you up. Like I tweet, I don't know, forget one of the Sens accounts was coming after me, and I tweeted a clip of what he said in the thing. It said, literally said, it doesn't matter if you're a top guy, if you're a bottom guy. We got to be arm in arm together, responding. He's just saying stuff for the sake of saying it, but it's on the internet now forever. So, anyways,
people hold you to this stuff.
Well,
buddy, you're talking.
I don't know. Did the Ottawa Senators miss the playoffs because of Sanderson and Shabbat now?
Yes.
Well, and now at least another week until we see Sanderson, maybe sooner. But these are critical must-win games right now, and two of your best 20-minute men are gone.
Ottawa has a tough schedule for the next bit. So Detroit's a big one tonight, and then 6 of their next 7 games are against teams in a playoff spot. That includes Minnesota, Carolina, Tampa twice. They play some good teams over that stretch. If they get some guys back and get through that stretch and they're still in it, they finish with the Panthers, the Leafs, the Devils, and the Islanders. And they should get some bodies back. So they could finish really strong.
I'm just dying for that last game of the season to matter and have the Leafs get one of their only 3 wins they're allowed.
Toronto, Ottawa, and just screw both teams. Toronto doesn't get bottom 5 and Ottawa misses
they're allowed to get 2 wins still.
So
make that be one of them.
Sammy, you tell me that the Florida Panthers are dealing with several injuries now.
Yeah, what a weird
time.
There's something wrong with all their guys. All of a sudden. Sam Reinhart's not feeling great. I think Sam Reinhart's going to miss some time.
Is that right?
Whoever wants to buy tickets in April now?
Reinhart and Marchand are without timelines on undisclosed injuries, which is the greatest.
Matthew Nye's playing 25 minutes with a bum knee, but these guys are missing the rest of the season with no.
Undisclosed because we haven't found one yet.
Lundell, listen. Lundell is somewhat closer to returning than most of his teammates, as he's not dealing with as serious an injury. We'll list him as day-to-day, said Paul Maurice. He's not good enough to be on the ice yet. He's getting looked at. We don't think there's much there, but he's not ready to play. They're just not playing because they don't want him to.
And I quote, we don't think there's much there, but he's not ready to play. Florida tanking, full tank.
Quickly before we go, Ovi got to 1,000 goals. I forget what that was over the weekend.
That should be a much bigger deal to me than his original.
Because we never, why it's not big of a deal? Because nobody really ever talked about it.
Yeah,
it's never really been a thing.
I didn't
to
realize,
combine both goals.
He's 16 now.
Behind Greth.
He's definitely coming back for that.
So if he retires, he would not have the most goals in an NHL jersey.
He is signing a 1-year contract and getting 16.
Just the NBA style 10 days. He just signs 10
Yeah.
days until he goes back.
I think.
I don't think, man.
You don't think?
Well, I would hope there's a better reason than that.
Than being the all-time leading goal scorer?
It already
It's not
felt
a
like
thing.
a
I'm just
sideshow.
telling you, it was never really a thing.
It's kind of a thing.
Bit of a thing.
It's a thing.
No, it's a bit of a thing now,
Yeah.
but you're asking me, why, like, where was the buildup? Where was the attention to it? Was like, because it was never really a thing.
Right. No
I
one
never
has ever
mentioned
been
it.
here
I remember
before.
I mentioned it
I've
like
never got this far
offhand
before.
a couple weeks ago. And I was like, oh, he's like 2 away from 1,000.
That's why, because you just mentioned it. No one else. That's why nobody thinks it's a thing.
So you don't think he'll come back to get 16 tucks to be the all-time leading goaler?
He could
goal
come
scorer?
back, but like that's not it.
Well, what's he got? 25? It might take him 2 years to get 17.
Yeah, I don't know. They'll put him on the power play for 2 minutes every
He
night.
plays the power play 4 minutes a night,
and-
4.5 minutes a night.
Quickly before we go, Leafs talk tonight. Boy, it's a must-watch program usually. But tonight we have Johnny Gallant from Billy Talent coming on, my boy. So we're adding in
Just
some
the
fun.
two of you?
And JD too.
Oh,
so
you're
we're just adding in
doing
some fun
a radio
now.
show
listen.
now.
We're adding in some fun.
And listen, don't shortchange them with this 17, 18 minutes. I want you going 45 long.
Listen, we've been going
45 to an hour.
We've been going 21 exactly,
Yeah.
closest to the pin every
No.
time.
The
No, don't
18
mail it
wheeler
in.
is off the edge and into a river
Yeah.
below
So
tonight.
check. Oh yeah,
I
some
want you
fallen
to-
leaves, if you will.
I want you guys mailing it in.
So
Plenty. Hey,
check out
Toronto,
Leafs Talk with
Boston.
John Gallant tonight. It'll be fun.
Toronto, Boston always gives you something, buddy.
Oh, that'd be great. Minten's hat trick will be sick.
Oh, it'll give him something.
Yeah.
Pain.
All right. Just like that, 2 hours gone, and we've solved nothing. Our thanks to Gord Stellick in our first Leaf Hour edition, Andy Brickley as well, and Steve Valiquette, always fun
Awesome stuff.
on Tuesdays with Valley. 15 games. Wow. Pick one or pick 5. I don't know how many
all.
TVs you have in your room. Just watch them all and then join us again tomorrow on Real Kyper and Bourne. Have a great night, everybody.